Salty Language, episode 567.
The sexiest podcast on the network.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Hi, Brian.
Hello,
How's
Tony.
it going, eh?
Oh, just staying inside and not melting.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Oh,
Yeah.
I can hear us live because I'm trying to. There we go.
Oh, my goodness. I could hear us live.
I know, right? No one wants to hear us live except for the people that want to hear us live, and that's not us.
Right. You are correct. Much like my initial answer to our Q of the W last week.
Yes.
Which was, whose voice annoys you? Mine.
This guy.
It's so weird when you're told by people that, like, they'll listen and they're like, oh, I like your voice. I'm like, really? Like, I hate it. I can't stand it.
I know, I feel the same way.
So
I'm like, really?
yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
It
you're
sounds
like, man, I hate
shit to
Brian
me.
too. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Share this on my own page because, why not? There we go.
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's
been a time.
it's been yeah.
Yeah.
It was really weird how we had a hot week and then the weekend was just like gorgeous.
Yeah, I know, right?
And now it's back to like, the devil's anus again,
Yeah, 100% accurate. And
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it
I
at
mean,
all.
I'm glad for the local beer and bacon fest. They had a fantastic day for that thing because it was barely 80 degrees, I think, or something like that. And
you say stuff like that, and I go, we should just went.
yeah, I thought about it, later, just been like, we should just go. Because remember, when I went before, I mean, it went for a good little while.
Right.
I was like, we probably still could have went and had a time, but that's all right.
Yeah, we should have just went.
Yeah.
But, Brian.
Next year.
We're asshole. I mean, next year.
Next year. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Next year.
Yeah.
I was sticking with we're assholes.
Yeah, I saw a little bit on the news about it. Looks like they had a nice turnout, so that's good. I'm glad to see that.
That is a good thing.
The interesting part for me is from the point I went last time till now, there's been a whole bunch more breweries opening in this area.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I'm curious who all was, and I never looked at the beer lists or anything.
I mean, I know because the 419 Ale Trail started over again.
Yeah,
and there's 41 stops on it.
Wow.
And granted,
wasn't there
distilleries too, and they range all the way down to Finley.
Right.
But, I mean, still.
That's still within close enough range, though, that for that beer and bacon fest, it's like I wonder if they at any point if they're gonna have to turn people away, like breweries away, because there's only so much space there. It's not a lot of space.
Yeah, because isn't it at the Hungarian Club or something?
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine is huge.
Right. They close off the two streets, on either side of it, basically. But that's not a lot of room. So unless they're able to close off more of the street or something, which is possible, because it's not a real busy, street around there. So they could potentially close it off maybe further down or something to start it, But I don't know. That's why I said I was kind of curious about that. I haven't looked at their Facebook to see, if pictures have started showing up on their site or anything to kind of see
what the turnout was and all that.
Because when I went before, I mean, that area was full. I mean, there was no real empty space.
Didn't you go to the first one too, or the second one or something like that?
So, yeah, it was one of the first couple or something like that. Yeah, so it was, and like I said, that's the only thing I can think of is maybe if they just close off some more space. Because it's not like each brewery had a 40-foot setup. I mean, most of them had just a small table where, they could have a few kegs behind them, basically.
I mean, it wasn't it wasn't like Dark Horse when they build a fucking haunted house or something.
No, there's nothing like that. It was, it was mostly it looked like about an 8 to 10 foot space for most most of them. So you can't really shrink that down any to make more room, because otherwise then they won't be able to, have enough space themselves.
Right.
So I'm curious to see that. That was something I was curious about. Looking forward to checking out, was to see if it expanded, because there are so many more
Yeah,
breweries
it's
around
very
here now.
interesting how many breweries have opened, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's no way if I had a brewery around here that I
For
wouldn't
sure.
want to be there. Because like when I went before, that was when Patron Saints was
Right.
had just opened. I had never heard, I had heard of them, but hadn't had any of their beers. So that was the first time I got a chance to try any of their stuff. And it was that way. There were a few breweries there that I had not heard of that I got to try, and was like, oh wow, this is actually some good stuff, and then it's like, oh, we should go check out
Right.
this brewery, kind of a thing. So I'm very, very
I mean,
curious
you
how
had
many
me
they
at we
had
should go
there.
check out this brewery.
Naturally.
I'm actually going to pull up their website just because I'm curious now. I'm sure they have an overall list or whatever,
Yeah, that was probably, I would hope so, because that's what, most beer fests do, is they have some sort of a list.
Yes, I guess I guess I'll accept your cookies, you piece of shit. Here, I'll pull it up on the browser for you. So it's like 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Looks like 16 breweries. Yeah.
Okay.
See.
It's surprisingly low. I figured it would be higher than that, but maybe it was just a space
thing. I think there's I haven't been to Finley Brewing. I know this. I can't remember what it's called, but it's their logo's a 20-sided die. It's like a board game and brewery. That's in BG. I haven't been there, or to Bowling Green Brew Works. But other than that, I think I've been everywhere else. I mean, because we live in the area.
Well, right. Well, the cool part about some of it is, of course, since it's a bacon festival, they all come up with some bacon situation usually. Although it was weird, when I was there before, there were a few that didn't have any sort of bacon beers, and I'm like, how do you, unless you entered last minute kind of a thing? It was like, how did you not get a bacon something on, even a firkin of it or something? No, I mean the Hungarian center does. There's all sorts of bacon inside. They have a variety of foodstuffs, because we were just going in. They had like bacon on a stick with all different flavor, different flavors of bacon, and we were just like crushing that. And I think one of the guys got a hot dog outside that had like a mountain of chopped bacon on it. It looked fantastic.
That sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I was so full of beer and other bacon at that point that I'm like, I don't think I should eat anymore.
I'm just gonna tell you that sounds like bullshit.
No, I put a lot of beer in my gullet.
You could just just throw it in your undershorts and save it for later or something.
You're right. Damn it. I always forget about the old undershorts move. That is what the pouch in the front's for, right?
Yeah. The bacon pouch.
To nestle your bacon against, to nestle your bacon against your jennies.
Excellent. Yeah, no, right? Gross.
I mean, I guess your undercarriage would smell like bacon grease, though.
You'd be all lubed up.
That's true, yeah.
Good on a hot day.
Yeah.
Although you have dogs chasing you and stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
You can't win them all.
There's always a trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well. Right, man?
But, yep.
Oh, good Lord. It's too early for me to be yawning like this.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's, that's your go-to move, though.
It would be really cool if I just didn't have to work. So, all right, listeners, I need to hit you up with that Patreon, all right?
Right. Yeah.
I need to maintain the lifestyle that I'm used to, but with way less work involved.
Yeah. That makes
it's been
sense.
one of those. It's gonna be one of those weeks where I'm gonna want to murder everyone because it's gonna be hot and we're busy. So
yeah,
it's a good
Oh,
combination
even better.
when everyone's frustrated and overworked and it's hot as fuck. It usually works out really
Right.
well.
and it's all testosterone.
Exactly. It usually works out great. Yeah, even the women that work there are pumping full of testosterone too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like you
Natural.
do.
As you do.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Like I do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Chew them like candy, you know. Wait, no. Certainly don't do that.
Or
That'd be
delicious, depending on how they're flavored.
Those are the pills that give me that weird, like they claim it's a metallic taste. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how really to describe it, but it doesn't taste like metallic to me.
Can't they give them to you in like a delicious gummy form? Like just make this
I
like
wish.
a blue raz cube or something.
But they probably have that, right? But I had to fight like hell to go from the shot to a pill. So I can't even imagine my insurance be like, how dare he want it in a gummy form?
Testosterone Twizzlers? Fuck him. I'm sorry, Testosta Twizzlers.
There's for sure a mashup in there somewhere, but I don't think you hit it yet.
I do kind of like Twizztosterone. Yeah, I do kind of like that.
Testosterone? Maybe.
What about just test vines?
Test vines. Well, I guess that makes sense if you're more inclined to the red vines.
It hits different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. You're right. I like that easy chewing,
like Grandpa
licorice.
Wallabies, Aussie licorice, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, those type of licorice, ones that people can just gum. Sure.
They don't have teeth in Australia.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Those aren't even from Australia.
That's what amazes me. It's like Australian licorice.
Yeah,
it's like, is it?
Yeah, but when you read it, it's from like New Jersey or something. I don't know where. But it's from
they just call
100% from the U.S.
Australian Jersey because it shares a parking lot with Outback.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess that counts, right? Yeah.
Crikey. Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. So yeah, my week's been, it was pretty uneventful other than our hang, basically.
I mean, the hang could have been more eventful.
Yeah,
I really.
it was pretty low key for sure, but yeah. But we were, because the first part of the week was balls hot, so we stayed in. Other than we went out a couple days just to grab some food, because with it being so hot, it was like we just didn't feel like cooking anything, So we went and grabbed some eats, and I really haven't done much this week. It's been a real boring week. Yeah. So how about you? Like, I haven't even really played, like, I didn't really like play any video games. It was just a like lounge and watch TV or dink around on the internet kind of week. I really didn't do anything.
Last week, as we discussed, was hot as balls. I didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to the pool almost every day, which was nice. Because as we found out at the end of the day, it's pretty like chill there. So we
okay. You wouldn't think it would be, given as hot as it was. Like, you'd think you would be just full up all day.
I don't even shower because I'm going to the pool. Well, the one day I did because I was so soiled. I'm like, I just need a rinse. It was bad.
Right. Just like, spread your cheeks and
like,
spray her out the sink.
In First Blood where they're delousing him. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you just spin in the kitchen, Michelle hoses you off. Yeah, I guess. That makes sense. Yeah.
But no, it's because by the time we eat dinner and we get there, the pool closes at 7:30. and we get there like 6.
Oh, okay.
So it's starting to empty
Yeah.
out, and then at 6:45 they blow the whistle for Adult Swim, so no kids in the pool. So hell
Nice,
yeah.
totally
So
nude.
when that happens, it's basically like just the families that are there just go home. Because what are you gonna do? Get back in the pool for 20 minutes,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they're gonna shut the pool down or whatever.
Yes.
So we just it's really nice actually.
Yeah.
So we
All
did
right.
that basically almost every day, but I mean
I thought maybe
it was a pretty
pull
chill.
the candy move.
I didn't play anything.
Yeah.
I think I did Elden Ring for like 15 minutes, and I was just like, I'm just not feeling this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty relaxing. And,
Yeah.
and then, of course, the hang,
Right.
which was, preempted by me waking up at like 3 in the morning, and because I had to work Saturday. And anytime I
Ooh,
work Saturday, it throws off my sleep schedule because I get this weird anxiety, like I'm going to sleep through my alarm
right.
or not. Oh, did I set it? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it always kind of fucks me up. I always end up waking up way too early.
Yeah.
So that definitely kind of put a damper on the hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right though. It was good
Still
though.
at a time.
So
Chilly
I
drive
mean,
home, but
yeah. Yeah. You know what's weird? I was telling you I was riding with my nephew in his Wrangler last night, and I forgot where we were. There was like a dip in the road at this one point, right?
yeah.
And when we hit this area where there was a dip in the road, I swear to God, it dropped 10 degrees. But then, like, as soon as we were through that dip, it was back to where it
That's
was comfortable.
weird.
Because we both, when we went into that dip, we were both like, oh, like got a chill kind of thing.
You
So,
probably drove over an
either,
Indian burial ground.
yeah, I was gonna say there's some spooky ghosts or something in there. It was weird because we both did it. We were both like, whoa, like damn.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was a comfortable drive otherwise.
Huh.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah, that is strange, man. Man, very strange, man.
Yeah, so it was fun. We got to see. There's a bunch of road construction by where I live, and this, first thing we see was a vehicle that thought that the curb lane was open, and it sure wasn't. Like they only had the barricade or the barrels over where they did because they had worked on the area and they were giving it some space basically. But somebody thought they could drive that way, and the road was still all tore up, and we got to watch them try to fly around everybody to cut around everyone, only to have to back up and wait, which was kind of fun.
I mean,
But
fun fact, Brian,
yeah,
after I dropped you back at your place and I was heading home, I
yeah.
was sitting at that light and a fucking Camaro did the same thing.
Oh
And
man,
I watched it go around the corner, still like behind all the barrels, and it's like bouncing and bottoming out and shit. And then eventually they just sat there, and when they had a chance, they like slowly got onto the road.
yeah, that's what I was saying about that SUV. Is I was like, if they had just gone a little further, they could have just paid attention and been able to sneak back onto the road, no problem. Oh man, a Camaro though, that car
It
sits
was
way
hilarious
too
to
low.
watch.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it really made me feel good watching them just, probably scratch up their underbody and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Take
Oh, they
that,
had to.
undercarriage.
There's no way they couldn't because of the way that was all. And the thing was, the side of the road before you turn onto a Lexus there, it was the better part. Like once you start getting around the corners where it's really
Well,
still
when they
tore
went
up.
around the corner,
Yeah, so that
I
was.
just sat there giggling, going, "You fucking idiot."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say it is pretty shitty of the road crews to leave the barrels as far out as they, because it does look like it's a lane now.
Right.
They should move them in a little more so that you can clearly see it's not a lane. But man, what are you going to do? But that wasn't, by far the other was where they had just put in these new curbs all down the road, and there's a good what do you think, 4 feet like gap between the road and the curb
Yeah.
that they haven't filled back up yet,
Right. A
and
nice trench.
a trench, yeah. And Tony points out to me, hey, pay attention over here because there's a truck that was totally stuck. Like somebody tried to, my guess is like we both seem to think is that it was probably somebody who just thought that they could just cut through there and, oh, I'm in a truck, so I can drive over this.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And they sure couldn't. Their wheels got stuck in that trench.
Yeah, the trench was about the exact width of their wheel.
Right.
Which is hilarious.
And they cracked the curb that they hit. And, you know, and then the better part was, like you said, when we both noticed that the straps, somebody had tried to pull them out of there and broke straps trying to.
Still broken nylon straps attached to the back of the truck.
So, yeah.
Oh, hey, Cheeto. He just said, have a good show, guys.
Nope.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thank you, sir. But we, you know, they had it gone by the time we got back, but what a turd. Just
I mean, I am assuming exactly what you said earlier was, I'm in a fucking truck. I got this.
Right.
Yeah, okay, bud.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You sure don't.
I would love this. I wish I could have just seen the look on the dude's face when he slammed into that curb.
Yeah.
And then realized he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he sat there throwing it in reverse. It was just like, you know.
Yeah. But those tires were stuck. There was no way
he was. I mean, a actual tow truck had to come in and remove him for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fun part, I'm sure, for that too, is they probably had to block the road to pull that truck out of there because they're going to have to get on the other side of the road
for sure.
And there's road construction over there too, so you don't have the full aspect of the road. You've got like one less lane to work with, you know, because you know the tow trucks got to be careful they don't throw it too far and, you know, potentially stick themselves in the trench on the other side.
I mean, to be fair though, I saw, of all things, of course, a TikTok. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
And it was a guy who drives a tow truck, and he like rescues and recovers guys who are off-roading.
Oh,
so
okay.
he has this like trailer with these big beefy tires. This tow truck's got like the suspension and the beefy tires.
Yeah.
And he had to pick up the, you know, those little Ranger 4x4s that people love.
Yeah.
I guess some dude's transmission blew out in the middle of nowhere, so he had to go like throw it on his trailer. And then the dude is pulling a trailer and like rock crawling to get out. It was insane to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a tow truck and yeah, like doing all the rock crawling moves that you see videos of. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I never occurred to me, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's got to be a thing because people break down out in the middle of nowhere doing that.
Yeah.
Never thought about that before.
Right. Yep. Yeah, well, it's like they got those shows on I forgot what channel it's on where it's like ice road truckers, but it's like recovery like type shows like that, and it's up in like Canada on like the sketchiest roads and like or where like a trailer will have fallen off the road,
right?
And they've got to basically roll the thing up the hill kind of thing to recover it. And some of the shit that they do, it's like, first of all, it's crazy dangerous, but also it's incredible to see how they're able to figure out how they can do things. Like with the one I saw, there were these big rocks all down the side of the thing, and they were like, we can't pull this up the side because if we do, these rocks are just going to destroy it. You know, like it's just going to fall apart. And so the truck that wrecked had a bunch of pallets on it. So they were pulling the old like log move, you know, or like you put a log down, run out in front, put another log, you know, and just keep doing it. They were doing that with the pallets kind of as they were sliding it up. Somebody would grab one of the other ones and run it up the hill basically and put it down. And then they
like
just
slowly,
slowly pulled this thing up the pallets. They got it. But I was like, Jesus, you know, like the smarts to do that though is, you know,
I wonder how many maple bucks that job pays.
Probably quite a few, considering it's high stress and it is dangerous. You know, it's, you know, the worst part for them is that they get pressured from like the highway patrol or whatever, like, hey, you can't keep the road closed forever, let's hurry it up,
let's go
kind of. And it's
you
like,
understand how many geese are trying to get through here?
Yeah, and it's like, but we're trying to, nah, we don't
We
care.
don't care, eh? Got 14 dog sleds backed up over here.
Go around. I can't. Yeah. Oh man. It's kind of fun watching that show though. There are times watching it, it's a little anxiety inducing though.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because they'll be pulling something and you can just see, like, one time I saw it and it's like lifting the truck off the ground almost, like the wrecker, and so they had to be real careful because obviously the first thing you have to worry about is you don't want the cable to break, because the cable could, like, kill somebody.
Oh, for sure.
But also, and you don't want your equipment to break because that shit's
that's
expensive.
your equipment.
Yeah. So
that's your goddamn waffles and butter or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Canadian things they do.
Right. With whatever they buy with their maple bucks.
Whatever they buy with their maple bucks and beaver teeth or whatever.
I don't think they use beaver teeth anymore. I don't think that's an acceptable form of currency in most of Canada.
You go up far enough.
Yeah. You get into the redneck areas and yeah. Probably don't accept anything but beaver teeth.
There should be a sign on a shop that says that.
Yeah. Like, what's the exchange rate?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a machine to get tokens. You put like a quarter in and like beaver teeth come out.
You just turn the handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like getting chiclets. Man, when's the last time you had a chiclet?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you.
I don't even remember seeing them. They still exist. They have to.
Probably, yeah. I don't know, but I haven't seen them in a long time. It's funny though, because whenever you would see them, there's always somebody who has to get them. I haven't looked at Kroger. They have candy machines right outside the door. Or right inside the door, I guess I should say.
Chiclets as of 2016 were discontinued.
Oh, man. I wonder why.
I don't know. It says it has reappeared. Oh, reappeared as 2019, manufactured in Mexico. So I guess the trademark has been abandoned.
So they're El Chiclets now.
Yes, exactly. Fucking chiclets. And of course, there's a picture of a chicken. Why not?
Yeah. Which makes total sense. Can you imagine if it tasted like chicken?
I mean, chicken chiclets would be pretty sweet.
Like, you think you're getting just a variety of like fruit gum or something like that. Nope. just regular old chicken.
Yep. You got dark meat and light meat.
Sure, mixed in.
Right?
Yeah.
Then they could have like special edition Nashville hot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole world of chiclets we never even explored right here.
Fried, grilled, sure.
Beer can chiclets.
Yeah.
Sponsored by like Bush, since they sponsor everything now. If it's something goofy, they're involved for some reason.
Does seem to be. Yeah. Oh, actually, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about. So,
did we talk about the Bush apple?
I don't remember if we did or not. I know we did, but I don't know if we did. Like,
it's one of those things. If it wasn't in a 30 rack, I'd almost want to try it, but I don't want to buy 30 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I need to go up to Stammers. Guaranteed they have that in their cooler. It's the first time I had a natter day. It was like 50 cents or something.
Hey, you're probably right.
Brian, we should road trip up to Steve. You haven't been to Stammers, have you?
Oh, I haven't.
We should road trip up to Stammers.
Yeah.
See if they got fucking Bush apple.
It's so worth the trip.
Right? In fact, because I'm thinking about it, I'm going to text our boy Steve right now and be like, when are you off? What week are you not working?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Wow.
Have us time up at Stammers.
Oh, yeah.
Try not to get turned into a skin suit.
I mean, maybe. There you go.
Probably.
Oh, man. I don't know why. I got like a slight headache for some reason. It's just kind of like slowly crept in on my brain. I don't like it. I
All
don't know
right.
what happened. Maybe it's a hat.
Maybe.
The hat combined with the whatever smashing on my tender skull.
I was gonna say odds are it's probably like the droning sound of that air conditioner is probably.
Droning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's like
glad these muffs are actually the same muffs that, air traffic guys use.
right. You need you've got a situation going there where it's basically like the Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe,
Yes.
but it's an air conditioner.
Yeah, the loud as fuck AC.
Yeah.
Ugh. God, I hate that thing.
Yeah.
I was talking.
So anyway, so yeah. Well, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
on Faja's day, I had lunch with my parents, and I was
Yeah.
talking to them about how I was. We went to the. I mean, going local here, but we went to that Cooper's Hawk. It's that winery where Anderson's used to be. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's great. Have you guys been there?" No. So we went. The food actually was really good. Kind of on a
Yeah.
little pricey side, but not terribly pricey.
Figured it was gonna be.
But I
Yeah.
mean, they had some decent beer, of course. But I mean, if
Mm.
you're in the wine, wow, they had a lot of wine. I mean, it is a winery. But yeah, the
Right.
food is good. But so I'm talking to them about after we're gonna go eating, we're gonna go to that home buy store that's right there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just kind of want to price air conditioners because the last time I was there, they had a bunch of them.
Right.
And and then when Chuck's like, well, but why? And I'm telling him like, well, my fucking the upstairs it gets like molten lava hot, and the only window shaker unit I have up there is so loud, and like Leah can't
Yeah.
sleep.
Right.
So he was telling me, he's like, well, they got just get a booster fan for your ducts. Like, what? Yeah, they sell these fans, which I didn't know existed. You basically slice out a section of ductwork, and it's an electric fan you put in your duct, and it pushes more air up to whatever duct it's hooked
Oh,
to.
really?
I know, and I'm
Oh,
like,
all
wow.
right.
So I started looking at them. You can get cheap ones for pretty cheap, but the reviews are
Yeah.
meh. But it's like the ones that had really good reviews are the same price as an air conditioner.
Okay.
But I bet you economically in the long run, it's worth it to get the fan because it probably draws way less
Probably.
power.
Yeah, probably.
But,
Yeah.
I don't plan on being here forever.
Right. I was going to say, and I mean, not that it's horrible work, but it's like there's work involved versus just putting a thing in the
Yeah, that's
window.
kind of that. I was telling Michelle that after, because I've been thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
Because, Leah's coming to stay with us this weekend. She's actually coming a day early. And it's going to be fucking hot. And as much as I love the fact that Leah can sleep wherever they want to sleep, like they're comfortable sleeping in the living or whatever. I like not having to tiptoe around my house when I wake up because Leah's asleep on the couch.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna end up pulling. It's pay week, time to spend some money.
Yeah.
But I think,
well, that's what it's
I'm
for.
gonna end up buying just a cheapo small one that's not as loud as that, hopefully. And on podcast days, I'm just gonna open up both the doors and crank both of them and hope it cools off the upstairs decently, or something. I don't know. Either that, or I'll just keep the door open and Michelle just could be annoyed by hearing me yell. And just have fans pushing, air across, whatever. Oh, he says he's starting Friday, but he's going camping.
Tell him to cancel. Tell him that's right out. We're going to Stammers. The family will understand.
The family would camp at Stammers. We're going to Camp
Yeah.
Stammers.
There you go. Yeah, they can camp in the parking lot.
Whatever. If he can't join it, like that's on him.
It'd be funny if there was like an empty lot next to the place and he was like, yeah, this is where we're camping. Like,
But where's like the shower house and stuff? Like, well, you can't shower there, but there's a bathroom in that place.
Well, horse bath,
The old horse bath.
Splash a little on the, on the undercarriage, and you're pits and bits, as they say.
Bro, that's a great name for a barbecue place.
Bits
because you have a barbecue pit.
Yeah, true. And bits, like, burn ends.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
The whole pits and bits.
That'll be our barbecue food truck.
Yes. Well, I mean, I know we're both part of a Dead Dad Club, so, how was Father's
Yeah.
Day?
Yeah, it was, you know how it is. Like, it's been long enough now that it's not any worse, any year, and it's not really any better.
Right.
It's just a suck kind of day. And, you know, I like seeing a lot of people will post on social media pictures of them and their dads and stuff. And it's cool. It's nice seeing a lot of people, that still have their dads getting to spend time with them and that kind of stuff. So it's, I kind of find some joy in that, but it is also obviously a reminder that, my pops is
Yeah,
gone.
for
So
sure.
that kind of sucks, but I mean, I'm at a point now though, too, that it was kind of like, and it's like you've obviously made your peace with it,
Right.
because it's been, well, God, for me, it's been what, 17 years. This year I think will be 17 or 18. It's 2005. So
I mean,
yeah,
it's
so
always
17.
going to suck. But
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I'm just kind of like, well, it is what it is.
yeah, exactly.
It's like I said, I had lunch with my parents. So it's
Yeah,
like I got, someone new that I can say Happy Father's Day to. And
yeah,
then,
right.
my kids were hanging out with me the rest of the day. So, well, Logan not till way late because he couldn't get the day off of work. But
Right. Sounds like
I
bullshit.
know, right? And then,
Did he make tips?
Leah was supposed to join us for lunch, but their mom got the old COVID.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, oh shit. So I asked my parents, I'm like, because Leah was like, I haven't been exposed to mom. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay, well, that's good. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, let me talk to grandparents. And my mom's like, well, I'm fine, but Chuck's worried. And I'm like, I mean, I get it. And so did Leah.
Yeah.
So, but
Right.
Leah was so like annoyed, which I'll tell you about that later. But Leah was
Fair
so
enough.
annoyed that they just came over anyway. So like we're
Yeah.
backing up the driveway, and then they pull like park in front of the house. I'm like, hey, and Leah's just like, I'm just gonna go hang out with your pets. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see you when we get back.
Right.
No,
Fair
yeah,
enough. Yeah, I can understand, somebody being a little, cautious.
yeah. I mean, I get it too. That's why it's like, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, what you gonna do, brother, or
Yeah.
whatever?
Not much you can do. It's,
Yeah,
it's
the goddamn COVID.
right.
But yeah, I mean, base. I didn't make anything. I was thinking about that. You see all these pictures of like Father's Day gatherings. It's like Dad is slaving over the grill,
Yeah,
and I
usually.
mean, I always enjoyed it too because that always happened to me in the past. I would cook for my ex-father-in-law, and I'd be on the grill all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So that's what the kids asked, like, "Well, what do you want for Father's Day?" And I was like, "I don't want to make my own food." So
Right.
Leah showed up and made dinner, and Logan showed up later and brought dessert, and we just hung out and played games. It was a good time.
Yeah. All
You know,
right. I just want to know what's the deal with Logan not making you ribs? I mean,
yeah, I really got to give him shit about that.
should, because I mean, it's not like he didn't get taught how to
It's
do it.
true. It's true. Well, I mean,
I
to
mean,
be fair, he did work, so
it's no
he
excuse.
could have called off.
Yeah, that's right. He could have done it some other day.
I
Hey, Dad, I got work on Father's Day, but I'm gonna come over and make ribs on like Tuesday.
mean, he could say that anytime he wants.
That's
You know.
right. You wouldn't have been upset coming home from work
Oh
and
hell
having
no. I
ribs
mean, Michelle's here
ready
all
to
day,
go.
so it's like whatever.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
right.
actually show him exactly how to operate that grill.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is that
Because I
angle
had
of
it
it though,
already
too.
running by the time he showed up when he made those ribs. Yeah,
Right.
you're right. I should. I need to put
But
together
you for
like
sure got to get.
one of those like ISO worksheets so he knows exactly what to do to get it going.
It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
right.
Otherwise, you'll be getting phone calls or texts.
Yeah. Fire. What do I do now? What?
Yeah, he sends you a picture. It's like a 20-foot tall fire.
Yes.
Like, well, you're gonna want to put the lid on it and walk away for a minute.
Just walk away.
Maybe get the hose and maybe keep your phone handy for 911.
Well, of course, right?
Uh,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was good times. I just wish it wasn't on a Sunday. You
Yeah.
know, because it was like by the time Logan, he didn't show up till like 7:38. So
Right.
and I mean, you know how to, especially I got to work the next day. It was like
Right.
10 something. I'm like, I hate to cut it short, guys, but I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I gotta get up in the
Right. Like,
morning. I still gotta take out the garbage. We still had clothes hanging on the clothesline out back.
that'll be all right.
Like I got, unfortunately, I got some shit I got to wrap up.
Right.
Well,
Disagree. Since it was Father's Day, they should have taken the trash out.
I mean, you're right.
And, you know, I mean, the laundry is a little different, especially if there's delicates out there or something. That's a little weird.
Well,
but-
yeah, there's always delicates out there, Brian. You know that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It is weird. Like, you haven't even done laundry and there's delicates
I know,
out
it's
there.
crazy.
It's like you just put them out there for no reason.
Keeps the birds away.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Dude, you know what I started building on Father's Day though? I should have taken pictures of this. I guess I still could because it hasn't been completed yet. So, I got my bird feeders. I like feeding my burbs.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing that annoys me is the squirrels because, they just like raid all your seed. You're like, God damn it.
Right.
So the ways to deal with it are like, well, you got to put a squirrel baffle on your pole or this, that, and the other thing. But the way my yard is, no matter where I put the pole, those squirrels can jump onto it. So
yes.
the squirrel baffle doesn't mean shit.
Right. Have you ever seen the video of the guy who makes the thing in his backyard, like to keep the squirrels out of his bird feeders, and the squirrels keep like outsmarting him?
I believe it.
And it's like he makes these very elaborate things, and the squirrels are just like, yeah, whatever. And it's like an obstacle course he basically makes, and they have no trouble with it.
I mean, it would be fun to like live stream, I guess, put up a live cam.
Right.
But so what I started building, because I was looking on Amazon at just, other bird feeders, because Michelle's like, we got a bunch of blue jays in our neighborhood. We should get a blue jay feeder. They need this, whatever. So we're looking at them. And one of the things that came up were these little picnic tables that you like mount somewhere, and it's like a squirrel feeder. And one of the things I read was a good way to keep squirrels off your bird feeder was just feed them. You know? So I'm like, I'm looking at it, and it was like $30. And I'm like, I could fucking build at that. I have got so much scrap wood. I just cleared off my workbench. I'm like, you know what? I just started like drawing some shit up, and I got all the pieces chopped up and ready to go. And so I'm going to build a little picnic table for the squirrel. In fact, it has a little back mount so we can mount it on the fence. I was telling Michelle today, I'm like, I want to paint the table. And I was like, I should bring in that backdrop, or if you, it's like, would you mind painting a menu on it? She's like, oh, that's funny. I should do that.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, I'm building a little picnic because I'm going to put it like, there's this tree in our neighbor's yard. And when the dogs come outside, the squirrels go up the fence, up that tree. So I'm just going to put the table right there. So hopefully they can just, because they won't have to worry about the dogs anymore.
Right.
And it's a fucking little picnic table. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah. Who knows? If it comes to go or well, maybe I'll just start making them and selling them on Etsy. Don't have to work anymore. At least at my real job.
Well, yeah, you'll just be making small picnic tables all the time.
That would be funny.
Which will turn into weird dinettes and, chaise lounges.
Airstream dining cars.
Yeah. Like you're just building all this furniture and stuff for squirrels.
It would be pretty funny.
You just let your beard go, stop shaving your head,
just go full homeless.
Yeah. Looked like that guy from that episode of Aqua Teen we saw the other night.
Yes.
Tony, you doing okay? Yeah, I'm great. Hey, have you met my friends? There's like 40 squirrels around.
Just Lord of the Squirrels.
Yeah, like that guy who feeds all those raccoons,
Exactly.
Like that. You're sitting out back talking philosophy with them. Like, I don't think these squirrels are picking up your stoicism, but, good on you for trying.
Sorry, if they hang out for an hour, 45 minutes, we're going to start doing yoga, so.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, downward dog, they just maul your face.
I mean, it's It
It does
happens.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There we go. I think.
once I get it finished, I'll put the picture up on the Monotony on Instagram.
Yeah. And in the meantime, in the show notes, I'll have the link to the backyard squirrel maze. Apparently, the guy built another one. I think this guy, he's a former NASA
Oh
engineer,
my god!
and
Now he's fighting
he made.
squirrels.
Oh, dude, no. He has a squirrel maze that's got like a rope bridge and all this other shit. It's like a Ninja Warrior course type of thing,
I'm
like
pulling
it
this up.
says. Yeah, it was. It's fun to
Wow,
watch.
Squirrel Maze 1.0. Huh? Is that what you're talking about? Holy
Yeah,
shit, it's a
'cause it
20-minute video. Jesus.
Yeah, the first thing I saw was because he points out that squirrels kept breaking into my squirrel-proof bird feeders, so I had to outsmart them on my own. So he started making an obstacle course, and then he has now built 2 obstacle courses for.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll have the links to those in the show notes if anybody wants. It is a long watch, but they are kind of fun to watch the squirrels navigate these. The reason they're long is because he shows like how he builds it and then how he keeps like retooling it, basically.
I mean, the one thing I did look at was those bird feeders that they're like birds are so light it doesn't activate it, but when a squirrel gets on it just starts spinning wildly. But those things are almost like $200.
Right.
And as much as I would love to sit back and watch just a squirrel get wrecked by centrifugal force.
Right. I just feel like the squirrel, like my luck would be I'd pay all that money for it and the squirrel would just hang on to it and eventually it would slow down and then the squirrel. Yeah. Whee!
Yeah, I've got a feeling if I were to get that, it would just be like the squirrel spinning and then just launch off and be like skeet shooting for the dogs.
Right. Or the squirrel would land on your face and maul you.
Or that. Yeah. There is no middle ground.
Oh, no.
It starts off with hilarity and then turns either into partial blindness or squirrel death.
Well, in fairness, that'd still be hilarious. Maybe not for you.
How'd you get that eye patch? If I got a story for you.
Yeah. Gather around, childrens.
Grandpa, tell us about the killer squirrel.
Well, you see, my day.
I mean, my crazy uncle who lives in Columbus used to, electrocute squirrels. So,
oh, geez.
Yeah, he loved his birds. Like he was one of those guys that had like the manual, and you'd go out with binoculars and shit.
Oh yeah, like doing the birding.
Yeah, he was a birder for sure. And he had a bunch of bird feeders, and he had them all wired up. So if squirrels were on, he just had to flip a switch in his kitchen, and they would like electrify.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a step too far.
You think?
Like, they're just trying to eat like anything else. I mean,
fucking tree rats.
Jesus. Man.
I know, right?
Hate to see him if he's around homeless people.
Yeah, fucking alley rats.
Yeah.
Like oh yeah, I don't see any, but I do see a homeless guy. That's what I mean. Oh jeez.
Whoa. Wow, that turned a little bit. Yeah. Whoa. Oh man.
But yeah, basically for the most part, moral story this is my week was pretty relaxing. Like the weekend, was great because you and I hung out. I worked a few hours. Sunday was awesome. It's just Sunday night that sucked because I had to go to bed and start my week all over again.
Right. And
here we are, Monday evening. I'm already disappointed with life.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I gotta, give everyone the update is that, one thing we did follow through on was we did go get tacos.
We did get tacos.
We for sure took care of that problem.
So, Brian, the review of the Quesadilla taco.
Oh, they were so good.
Right?
Like I told you, I was like, I just want to be embalmed with that broth.
Yeah.
Like just for my own sake, just so that, as my body decomposes, it'll be delicious.
Yeah, they are really good. And like the beef that they normally serve with, they're fresh out of.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but the carnitas were still tasty.
The lady who was actually serving us, because I've talked to her before, she's like the owner's wife.
Oh,
you
okay.
know. So when she was like,
Yeah.
you know, how are you at the carnitas, you know, because she's like, I never would have done that before. And we are like, oh, they're really good. She's like, oh, I wouldn't have even thought that. It's like,
I,
why?
any meat that they have would taste delicious with
I was like,
that.
well, their carnitas are just delicious anyway, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I know it's pork and beef going together here, but who cares? It's delicious.
How many recipes though do you use chicken broth in that's not chicken?
Right.
Like there's beef recipes where you use chicken broth, like not beef broth,
Yeah, that's why I was just
So
like,
it's like,
when she was
yeah,
surprised about the carnitas, I was surprised at her surprise.
yeah. It's like you could like you could dunk a shoe in that gravy and it would be
I
delicious.
mean, you're
You
not
know,
wrong.
like not that their carnitas were like a shoe, but it was like, that stuff was so tasty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I seriously thought about just drinking it.
Like, can I get one of those shot glasses?
Like the biggest problem was that and I was aggressively dipping my tacos in it, and the real shame is that you have so much left over, and it's like I don't have anything to dip in here. I mean, I could have, I guess, started dipping nachos, chips in there.
Like, I mean, maybe it would be a move is get a side of like rice and then just dump it on the rice.
Oh man, yeah, that would be really good on rice. That might be the
Yeah.
move.
And she
But
did say that a lot of the taco trucks have those tacos.
yeah,
I mean, well, shit, like I told her, I'm like, I don't usually go to taco trucks. It's like a walk here. But
yeah.
now I'm thinking like, well, I might have to go check out a taco truck, see if they got these.
Oh no, what has she
I know,
done?
right?
She's undone her own
No, no.
business.
I mean, we supported that place so hard during the pandemic.
Right. Well, not to mention, like you said, it's literally up the
Mm.
street. You don't have to drive to get
No,
tacos. You can just
I
walk.
walk a
It's what
block, and I'm at.
it's not. I was gonna say it's like a 5-minute
Yeah,
walk.
yeah, exactly.
You
Do you know how many times
it's
that I'd be like, I'll get home from, especially on a Friday, I'll get home from work, and like Michelle will be out doing real estate stuff, and I'm like, I should just walk up there and just get some food and just have some beers, like
Yeah.
walk there, stumble home, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not that far to stumble.
No, for sure.
And worst case scenario, you pass out somewhere on the way home. And maybe have to call for a ride or something.
In a heap of trash.
Well, I mean, that would probably be the worst place to land. Although there was like a bed in there,
was.
so
I drove by yesterday. There was a gaming chair that looked all busted and shit, but it was gone when I went to work. So somebody thought they could resurrect it. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's weird what people will grab. Like
for sure.
I can't get over some of the stuff that you'll go by and you'll see, and then like you go by a little bit later and it's gone. It's like, who took that?
I watched it. The guy across the street from, I don't know. I'm assuming he's moving. His kids have been like cleaning his house out for weeks, but I still see the guy, so he's not dead.
Well, that's good.
But I mean, the amount of shit they were piled up on the curbs, and people just start going.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I can't remember if did I tell you the story about the little 4-door sedan and the guy had like crap in his trunk stacked up so high, and he had bungee straps, and I don't even know how he drove away. Like, it was him and his girlfriend, and it was like a little 4-door car, and it was so full of, I think it was mostly scrap metal. Like, he had a washing machine hanging out of his trunk.
Jeez,
it was insane.
Right.
I just sat on my porch and just watched the show.
Yeah,
it was crazy to me.
Yeah, that's how it's been over here. Like, we've had in the last couple of years, there's been a couple of people moving out, and they put a bunch of shit out by the street, and man, people go through it left and right. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it makes sense because there's like actual decent stuff out there.
Yeah.
They're just done with it, like end tables or shit like that, where it's like, I just don't want this, and they'll put it out there, and people of course will grab anything like that. So like people across the street, they had a desk that was out there. It looked like a decent desk, and it lasted for about 20 minutes, and I saw somebody loading it in the back of a truck, and I was like, yeah, it's like somebody's getting a decent desk or reselling it or whatever it is they're doing with it. I mean,
that's how we found Feminem. Just out on the curb. Now it's a collector's item because she's got the sexy shoes.
Right. Yeah. Now it's the house mascot.
Yep, there you go.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
no, people are weird. Whatever.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done that. We're going somewhere and I'll see something out by the street and be like, hey, we should grab that. Like,
I
because
mean, I think we've all done it at least once.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I haven't done it for the sake of like scrapping.
Right. No, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm talking like you're talking. Like, oh, hey, that's actually kind of, like, I could use,
Right.
like a couple bar stools or whatever.
Right, exactly. Or an end table or some bullshit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yep, exactly. I've put out, I had the one computer chair that I had, the hydraulics on it quit working. And the only fix that I found online really was like somebody basically said you could take like a yardstick and basically you cut the yardstick to where like you mark where you would want it at, cut the yardstick to that height basically, and then put multiples on there, and then wrap a shit ton of tape basically around it to where the chair literally can't go down any further. Right. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't seem like a great fix. Like, I think it's just time to buy another chair, and I put it out there and a guy knocked on the door and was like, is this chair free? And I told him, I said, yeah. I said, the hydraulics. I said, it goes like all the way to the floor, basically, and he was like, oh, I was like, that's okay. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe he knows how to fix it. Yeah, right. So I was like,
a chair I can drop it low in? Perfect.
I mean, honestly, if I had room, I would have put it in my bedroom and just used it for like gaming.
Right.
Just, sit basically on the floor, but you're in a real comfy chair instead.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It's kind of, put my feet up on something and just play games, but I didn't really have room for it. So, because the chair itself was still pretty nice. It was just the hydraulics were totally shot. Right. And like I said, I didn't really know how to fix it.
You didn't have any more than three-wheel motion?
No. Yeah. And I absolutely did not want to fool with the other. And so, and actually the chair I'm in now, my brother bought, because I was using a janky chair for a while. And then my brother was at a church rummage sale and he texted me. He's like, hey, they got a decent chair in here for $5. Do you want it? I'm like, yes. So, and it's, it's fairly comfortable. So it's not as nice as the one I had, but it, gets the job done.
Gets the job done.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd love to have one of those like gaming chairs, but
I want one of those gaming chairs that like rotates you down and puts screens above you.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Pretty fancy.
Know, right? I don't even know why I would need that.
I don't know.
Like the amount of gaming I do currently.
Yeah.
Because, well, once again, I've said it before, summertime, my gaming drops way down.
Yeah.
I mean, like right before we podcast tonight.
You shouldn't. You have that projector now.
Yeah, I know. Well, now I can, nighttime game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, take the switch out.
But yeah, I mean, that's like right before we started podcasting. Michelle was like, "Do you want to go sit outside?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." Actually, so we just sat out back with the dogs and we're bullshitting.
Yeah,
right. There was a brief part of me that I was like, "I kind of want to play Elden Ring," but then I was like, "Nah, I'd rather just go vibe."
It's too bad you can't rig your stuff to where it could still be inside, except maybe like the controller, but have.
That would be nice.
That would be, because then you wouldn't have to like run, pull things back and forth.
I mean, the Switch isn't that much.
No, the Switch is a much easier thing to do that with.
But like anything else I wanted to do, forget about it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Yes. Yes, Brian. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Oh shit.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Man, I keep forgetting to empty this garbage. And by garbage,
you'll do that.
It's basically recycling. It's full of cans and spent fortune cookies.
Yeah. Yeah, we finally got rid of all of our cans because the friend of Jim's that we used to take the cans up to him because he goes and recycles a bunch of stuff because he does scrap stuff and whatever. So we just would take him up there and he just like, in the bags, he was like, here's like a pile that I have of them. Just put them over there,
Right.
So even if he's not home, we can just like pull up, just go drop him off, and but it's a few minutes up the road, so we finally were like, we have so many of these, we have to get rid of these. So we just took a run up to his place and dumped a whole bunch of them up there. So that was nice, because it was starting to get to be a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, building that,
we don't want to throw it away.
Yeah, building all that stuff up, and then
yeah. And I don't have like a crusher, so they're all full size cans, so you can't even minimize them to that angle.
Right.
I thought about getting one of those can crushers, like you mount on the wall or whatever, and so I'm certainly not going to do it the way I used to do it, which was just by stomping on them.
That.
No, I ain't gonna fuck my foot up doing that. I did that enough as a kid.
Seen those ones that people hook up to like electric motors? It's almost like a piston, just
yeah. Dude, as a kid, when I would be at my dad's shop, because they'd have cans there all the time, and he would have me crush them, he'd give me like like handheld sledge.
Hell yeah, now we're talking.
It'd be like, here you go, have fun, and I'd just be out there just crushing cans and whatever, pretending I was Thor, obviously.
Well, I mean, how do they not have a sledgehammer that looks like Mjolnir? They market everything else.
I don't remember what it was the other day. It was a like a toolkit that is inside like a Mjolnir.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Up, but I'm with you. It's like, why wouldn't you just make a sledgehammer? Yeah.
Thor toolkit.
Oh, you're looking it up. Cool. If you find it, send me the link.
Oh, of course they sell it at Walmart. Why wouldn't they? And on Amazon. Let me pull it up real quick. Bing.
Oh, no. You're using Google.
So you want me to send it? You say you want me to send you this?
Yeah. There are people who've made custom Mjolnirs.
I mean, if I'm going to guess, this toolkit's probably pretty chintzy.
Oh, that'd be my guess, too. I can't imagine.
There you go. It is officially licensed, though.
Okay.
Wield the power of Thor.
Do you, though?
If you ever wondered, if like the whole Mjolnir, okay. 44-piece tool set. Oh, boy. I mean, it does fold up like Mjolnir, which is pretty goddamn cool.
It is, but also, yeah.
Oh, God.
Like,
I'm sure these tools are just trash.
What? How is the page not? But I just got a page not found when I tried to go to that.
Any sense? I'm looking at the page, you assholes.
All right, I guess I'll just try clicking the link. Nope, it's giving me a not found. Can you, maybe you missed no, because it's trying to give me an Amazon thing, but can you send it again?
How about I text it to you?
That's whatever. Yeah. Either that, yeah. That's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah, that is pretty silly.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if you saw it or not, but the comic book artist Tim Sale passed away this week.
Yes, I did see that. I only saw it because I saw your tweet. And I only saw that because I think Annalise favorited it or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was a guy that, like I posted on the tweet, was when they were doing Long Halloween, I loved going through that book. I just dug the style he used for that. And not just that, but like Spider-Man Blue and what was the Superman one they did? Him and Jeff Loeb. I don't know however you say his name. Shit, I can't remember the Superman one, but I love that Superman one too. And it was just, I loved those series that they were doing, how the characters were written and his style was fun in those books too.
What did he die of?
That I don't know. I didn't see anything that said.
I mean, I'm looking at the pictures of him. And he doesn't look like an old man. He looks pretty young still.
Yeah, I don't think he was that old.
I can't imagine it was, anything good.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if it was like cancer or something like
Right.
that. Oh, it's kidney failure.
Ah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I typed in his name and the very first thing that showed up on Google was cause of death.
Of course.
Like, okay then.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was 66. So, oh, Daredevil Yellow. That was another one that they did.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
66. That's really not that old.
No, it's
Yeah,
really
that's a bummer.
not. Yeah, he did, all sorts of stuff. They did Captain America White, Hulk Gray. Where's the?
Why is
I
everything
know there's
colors? Daredevil yellow.
that was their thing.
Oh, okay.
Remember, like him and what's his name when they like their whole gimmick basically was that.
Maybe I just never put it together for some reason.
Very
Yeah,
possible.
extremely possible.
But they, yeah, those series were fun to read. And I mean, dude, I remember. I don't know if there was another real series that I can think of that we talked about so much in between issues as The Long Halloween.
Oh, for sure.
Like not just you and I, but I mean at the
Just in
comic
general.
shop, like general talk of who did it, what do we think's coming up, blah blah blah. That was such a a great series to read, and the animated version of it is really good too. If people haven't seen that, they should check it out. But definitely, if you haven't checked out the book as a comics fan, for sure hit up your local comic book shop and
I mean, just pick up the trade.
Get a copy. Yeah. I've got one of his I don't know if it's technically a sketchbook or if it's an art book of his that I bought a long time ago, and I was so happy to get my hands on it, and I love it. Every once in a while I'll pull it out and still flip through the stuff in it because I just really dug some of his stuff. So
right,
sad to see another one go because really influential guy. Did some very very well loved works, and unfortunately, passed away.
I guess
So.
God needed another comic book artist.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes. Right. Oh, Superman for All Seasons. That's what it was called. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I don't remember reading it, but I remember it.
Dude, the way he drew Superman was fantastic. It was, one of my kind of ideal Superman
let's pull it
designs.
up for the people watching, Brian.
Yeah.
Superman. Oh yeah. Now that I'm looking at it,
I was gonna say as soon as you see it, you'll remember.
I was like, oh yeah, I do remember this, and I remember reading it because now that I'm looking at the covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Jesus, dude, do you realize Long Halloween #1 came out in 1996?
Oh God. That hurts my feelings.
I graduated high school.
That hurts my feelings.
Been that long. I mean, it makes sense though. I knew, like, we worked at Collector's World. I knew that when it came out. Actually, I might not have anymore. That might have been right around when I started at Best Buy. I don't remember, but it was close.
Wow. I can't believe it was that long ago. What
right?
the fuck?
Yep.
It's not even right.
Yep. Yeah. So I tell you, I've been I mentioned last week that I was watching the Dark Side of the Ring, kind of rewatching ones I'd already seen. But now I'm into the 3rd season now. And man, some of the episodes, like, I know a lot of the stuff that happens in a lot of the stories, but there's some of them where I didn't know. I think I mentioned that a little bit last week with like what's his name? Texas Tornado, where he had his foot amputated. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. But there was some other stuff that came up. But boy, the last one I
could spin on a peg leg.
Oh, pretty fast, apparently.
So fast. Finger of God.
I watched the Road Warriors one last night. And, oh man, talk about hitting me in the nostalgia and making me sad because Well, they're talking about the downfall of Hawk,
Right.
basically. And how he, just drugs and booze just ate the guy alive.
I mean, you'll have
And
that, unfortunately.
yeah, it's so, the overwhelming thing in these episodes is how much cocaine and or alcohol has destroyed so many pro
Right.
wrestlers. And it's understandable why. They're in pain
Oh,
all
yeah,
the time. So,
exactly.
you
Gotta
know,
take the edge off. Gotta be able to sleep well,
right.
or stay awake, or whatever, or both.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, it's just, and it was the time also, like you don't hear it, like I've said before, it's like the wrestlers now are the guys that are doing like CrossFit, and like they go like, after the show, they grab food and go back to their hotel room,
Right.
basically. They don't go out to the titty bar all night like the guys used to do, and do blow and all that kind of stuff all night, and then get up and go wrestle again, So it's, the guys from this era should conceivably live longer than a lot of these other guys, because God, so many of these guys, it's like, dead at 47. And I've jokingly said on here countless times how many times with like a wrestler when they live to 60, I'm like, that's a
Oh,
long
yeah,
life
for
for a
sure.
wrestler from that era. Like the fact that Ric Flair's had the lifestyle he's had and been able to live as long as he has is nothing short of a miracle.
Right, exactly.
Because I mean, everybody's got a Ric Flair party's too much story. So yeah, it's a really good watch though. Like I said last week, it's like, even if you're not into wrestling, there's some really interesting stuff in there, and they do a really good job of, when they use industry terms, they still try to kind of like explain what they're talking
Right.
about. So that you're not just like, what does
Like,
that
if you
even
don't
mean?
understand, go to our website's FAQ.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean a shoot?
Like, I don't understand.
Right. Like, I watched the Brian Pillman one last night, and like, I didn't realize his downfall went the way that it did. Like, I thought he just kind of was on the decline when he got with WWE. Right. I didn't realize that he was in a horrible car accident to where they literally had to put like steel plates in his face.
Really?
Like, they talked about how the surgeons literally had to cut his forehead and basically, sorry for being graphic to anyone, peel his face down and put plates in, and then put his face back up in together.
Well, that's exciting
and
stuff.
And his one ankle basically was just dangling. Like, they fixed it, but he was never ever the same. He was just in so much pain after that. And I don't know if you remember him as much as a wrestling fan, because most of his stuff was in like ECW and WCW, which we weren't really into it. Well, maybe ECW,
yeah, I mean,
but
we enjoyed our ECW.
The stuff in WCW. Yeah, we weren't really watching WCW in those days, though. But he was a freaky good in the ring, and all sorts of explosive and athletic. And after that car accident, he was neither. He was still good on the mic, and they were trying to get him to do like commentary occasionally, because he had definitely had charisma and stuff, but he didn't want to do that. And it's just, eventually he died of a heart attack, but he probably accelerated the heart attack with prescription pills and stuff.
It's weird with the last name of Pillman. You wouldn't think.
Yeah, right. Dude, his kid wrestles in AEW now. His name's Brian Pillman Jr. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the charisma his dad had. He's a talented guy, like he can work, but he just doesn't have as much charisma as his dad had. And but man, he looks like his dad. Like if he did his hair the same as his dad, he would look a whole lot like his dad. But yeah, it's just a shame that things went down that way. And the thing was, and I didn't know this, he was right before the car accident, he was basically negotiating with WCW, playing WCW against WWE to get a better contract. And, you know, he kind of hid his injuries a little bit when he signed with WWE, because he signed with WWE because Bischoff offered him more money in WCW, but it was also to where every 3 months his contract could be reevaluated. And since he knew he wasn't going to be able to go like he used to potentially, he knew they would essentially void his contract.
Like, you know what? We've seen your weird dangly foot.
Yeah, like you can't work,
right.
so we're gonna not pay you top guy money because you can't work.
For sure.
You know. Yeah, and WWE kind of, you know, got taken a little bit in that. But the funny part in the whole thing is he actually got Bischoff to fire him. And Bischoff's side of the story is that they talked about it, and Bischoff was like, I'll do this, and then you go work for WWE and increase your value. So then come back here, and I'll be able to pay you what you should make. And everybody else's side of the story is that basically Bischoff got worked, that he got tricked, and that Pillman really just wanted to go wherever the best money was.
That's with anybody.
So, right. But so who knows what the real truth is? Because, you know, Bischoff's side of it makes it look like, you know, he's the genius. And it's like, but it also could be just to cover that he got taken.
Be like, well, you know, I can't let anyone know I'm an asshole. So,
right. So,
yeah, it was my idea the whole time. Yeah.
I'll tell you, the one that was really, really got to me was watching the Owen Hart one. Because I remember it clearly. You remember us getting to Kelly's and Kelly's like, dude, something happened. Well, because we showed up a little late, and Kelly was like, dude, something happened to Owen Hart. And we're like, what? You know, and yeah. Just when his wife talks about how the rigging was done, apparently before, when they rigged for the Blue Blazer stuff, they had the guys who had done rigging work for like the top stuff in Hollywood and Broadway and all this kind of stuff. And they didn't like how awkward it looked. So they went with a different person who used that was supposed to use a hook that basically as soon as he landed, he could boom and unhook like Sting used to. And that what it was the hook was made for sailboats, to where when there's a big load like pulling on it, it immediately lets go. And that's what happened essentially, was as he was falling, the weight pulled and pop. And instead of using a normal carabiner, it had this hook that released.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out well for anybody.
No, it sure didn't. And fortunately, the guy fell to his death. And oh man, I'll never forget seeing the blood spot on the ring.
I know, right?
During the fucking pay-per-view. And you're like, and especially once they came on and Jim Ross is like, hey, Owen Hart has died. Like, they didn't wait until after the pay-per-view to put that news out there. It was like during the pay-per-view, he was like, yeah, Owen Hart is dead. And he said the way it happened was he's sitting there ringside. It comes into his headset from the back. It was like, hey, Owen is dead. And you're live in 10, 9. Like, he had no time to process. Yeah, and he's like, that's why I was very much like, because, you know, he's like, I had no time to think of what I was going to say, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, talk about put on the spot.
And they should have fucking stopped it right then.
Brian, the show must go on.
His wife made a great point, though. She was like, the police should have stopped it, because it was literally a crime scene at that point. Like, what if there was foul play?
But think of all the money that Vince McMahon wouldn't have made.
That's probably why the show went on.
That's why the show went on.
Sure. Ended up costing WWE like $18 million, I think they said, is what she settled for with them for wrongful death. She wanted it to go to trial. I bet if it went to trial, she would have gotten a lot more money. The only reason that maybe it wouldn't have is because, you know, WWE team O lawyers, you know. But yeah. Anyway. But yeah, it's been I can't say a fun watch, because it's the dark side of the ring. almost every one of them is bad news or someone dying.
I've been watching
know?
Dark Side of the Ring. Fucking hilarious.
Laugh riot, yeah. The only one that's really kind of just like they did the one. Do you remember the Brawl for All? That was when the guys boxed.
No, I don't remember that.
God, it's like it says in the documentary. It's like it's regarded as the worst idea in wrestling. And they decided to take a bunch of WWE guys and literally have them fight with boxing gloves on, but they could also do takedowns.
What?
But nobody but the people doing the judging were not like MMA judges or boxing judges, or like they had no experience, so they didn't know what technically was a takedown and what wasn't. Because from watching MMA, there's certain things that are takedowns and there are things that are not. They had no clue. And this was just a mess. And the whole goal, WWE, what they wanted was Dr. Death, Steve Williams. They thought he was just going to coast through this. And then they were going to make a big star out of him going against like Stone Cold. But he lost to Bart Gunn. And when Bart Gunn knocked him out, they didn't know what the hell to do because they had nothing planned for anybody else coming out of this tournament. And guys kept getting hurt left and right, like because they're doing things they're not used to doing.
Boxing.
Yeah, and then in the end, they get, Bart Gunn wins the whole thing. And basically he's thinking, all right, I'm going to get a push. Like I'm going to get to work with Stone Cold, which means top guy money.
Vince's like,
and then
hard.
No, what Vince did instead was set it up at WrestleMania, or was it WrestleMania? I don't remember if it was WrestleMania or not, but he set it up to where Bart Gunn fought Butterbean.
I do remember that.
And they sent Bart Gunn for some like boxing lessons, so he could defend himself basically. And Butterbean is even like, yeah, he's like, the guy's mistake was he's like, he tried to box me. He's like, when he came out was just throwing wild shots at other guys and knocking them out. He's like, I'd give him a 50-50 chance against me that way. He's like, because I can't look for his gaps, basically. And he's like, but when he tries to box me, he's like, oh, he's dead. And it was. I mean, he crushed it.
Butterbean may look like a pile of mashed potatoes, but he hits like a truck.
Exactly. Now, he's not a good technical fighter, but if he gets it was similar to Tyson. If Tyson gets a hand on you, you're going down. That was literally it. But if you could technique Tyson, you could beat him. But you couldn't. You weren't going to beat him by standing there throwing punches with him. Usually, Same with Butterbean, like you said, he's like a truck with fists. That are also trucks.
Yes, exactly.
And sure enough, I mean, he knocked the shit out of Bart Gunn, and like he knocked him down. He said, and he's like, when he knocked him down, he's like, in my head, I'm going, stay down. And he's like, and of course he gets up, and I'm thinking, fuck, like
now I gotta hurt you, boy.
He's like, yeah, basically, and he, and he crushed him with a right because he was on spaghetti legs, and spaghetti legs, and he just comes out of the corner, and Butterbean just drops him with a stiff right, and then the ref was like, yeah, he's had enough. It was such a train wreck, and it was one of the worst. And the thing was, the one thing about it that I didn't know that I learned was that it was Vince Russo's idea, and Vince Russo did it because JBL, or Bradshaw, was always in the locker room talking about how he, if they ever really fought, he'd whip everybody's asses. And he wanted to do this tournament just to show Bradshaw that he wasn't so tough.
Boy.
Meanwhile, Bradshaw made it to the semifinal.
That's not bad.
And then Bart Gunn dropped him, but and dropped him pretty good. I mean, he hit him with a good right that put him down. But it was like, dude, it was such a fucking train wreck. The whole thing. It was not fun to watch. The crowd wasn't into it because the crowd didn't know what the hell was going on. Because it's like, this ain't wrestling. Like what are we doing here? It was terrible. And it really is. It was one of the worst ideas they've ever come up with. I mean, the dog kennel match is definitely up there too. I know we've talked about that on past episodes, but
they're not always going to be winners.
Yeah. For anyone, like, even if you're not into wrestling or whatever, seriously, like if you have Hulu, pull up the Dark Side of the Ring and look for the one that's called Brawl for All and watch that one. It's such a shit show. And Jim Ross the whole time is like you know, and I mean, like, Jim Ross now is basically like, yeah, it was a terrible idea.
I don't know what the fuck we were thinking.
Yeah, Jim Cornette's in there just trashing it too because it was a Vince Russo idea, and Cornette and Russo hate each other. So it was, and it really was a stupid fucking idea, you know, because you had other guys getting randomly hurt, and now they can't work for a while because they're hurt, you know. So for this stupid gimmick idea, you get all these guys getting these random ass injuries.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. So anyway, enough
Good times.
I mean, it is because, you know, I am learning some stuff I didn't know, but a lot of it I already knew from, because a lot of these stories are from, you know, there's a lot of lore that, you know, like the stuff with Benoit, I knew pretty much everything that was talked about on that episode, you know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, and even the Owen Hart one, I knew most of it. I didn't know about the Carabiner thing. Like, that was fucking crazy. Because I was like, oh, no wonder why his wife immediately was like, yeah, I'm suing everybody involved in this. As well she should. And, you know, and she's made a comment that she'll never let WWE put Owen in the Hall of Fame. And his kids are like, yeah, that we're never going to let that happen. So as much as the fans want it, I don't think it's ever going to happen because his, you know, his wife's not old and his kids are not old either, you know? So it's like, we're talking a long time before it moves to where someone else would make that decision, basically. Anyway. So, yeah. So you said you're caught up on the Obi-Wans.
I am caught up on the Obi-Wans.
We got the final episode dropping this week. Yep. Spoiler alerts. Just in case.
Just
no Qui-Gon yet. Do you think Qui-Gon has to show up in this episode, right? Like, has to show up.
You know, I don't know anymore. I'll be honest. I thought I knew maybe what was going on, and nothing's really working out the way I thought it was going to.
Right. One thing I will say is, as I said in the previous episode of our show, if you haven't looked at the link I put in the last show's episode for the, like, where it shows the Easter eggs and stuff and explains some of the stuff in the show, definitely go watch that stuff because it really helps to understand how they're mirroring other scenes with this show and how it kind of, like all Star Wars, basically, it's all, the whole Skywalker saga is cyclical.
Yeah, it's all tied
you know,
together.
It very much,
yes.
And it's on purpose. So, you know, check out some of the stuff that they show. And even, you know, like one of the things we mentioned last week was, you know, like Obi-Wan when he's fighting Vader and Vader's doing the one-hand stance and Obi-Wan's using the two-handed stance. The guy points out after this last episode when it shows Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting, like not fighting, but sparring, let's say. You actually see Obi-Wan throughout the prequels, he changes his approach with how he stands and how he fights. In certain times he's more defensive, other times he's more offensive, and he changes his stance and such. And that kind of tells you where they're at in the story. Which is a really interesting thing. And I think, again, going to the two-handed stance shows more how he needs two hands because he's aging and he's not as powerful as he used to be. And, you know,
I kind of wish they would have de-aged him a little better for that sparring scene.
Oh, for sure. Hayden Christensen looks like a 40-year-old man
looks
there.
Like, you know, like the fucking narc that shows up at high school.
Yeah, he sure does. That was the first thing I noticed too. Was like, oh, they didn't de-age him much.
Done a little CGI here, bud. you are Disney after all.
This is for sure not something that was filmed during the prequels. No. Yeah, that was a little bit of a misstep for them for sure. Because it does take you out a little bit because it's like he looks really old here. Oh wait, that's Anakin. Oh, my fault. Yeah. Oh man. a Padawan you will remain
Yeah, I mean,
because you suck.
I like it, but it's not as like we were talking about this. We watched it today. We were talking about it after the episode.
Yeah.
That like every Star Wars show has a very high mark to hit because the first one was The Mandalorian and it was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Obi-Wan's as good as The Mandalorian for sure. I
No.
like it. I'm not gonna lie, I
Yeah.
like it, but it's like,
Yeah.
I was hoping for more, maybe.
Yeah, it's really difficult because in The Mandalorian, you have a lot of area where you can
Yeah. Oh yeah,
create,
because it's an unknown character. Yeah.
right? With Boba Fett, you had a little room to create, but there's still a
Yeah.
timeline. And Obi-Wan, there's a very firm
That's exactly what
timeline.
I said. I was like, with Mandalorian, it's this unknown character you could do whatever you want with. And as
Yeah.
when you get more dialed into the Skywalker saga, it's like, well, there's kind of shit
Right.
you have to follow or have to do or
Exactly. And I think I think those handcuffs are a real problem with Obi-Wan. That
yes.
it's like you said, it's like I like it, but it's not like I've cooled as the series has gone on, other than I'm really digging seeing this
I
Vader.
mean, because
Because again,
spoilers.
remember that comic book?
Spoilers.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's like when Vader gets betrayed, you're like, well, we all know
Yeah.
how this ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within
right,
reason,
yeah.
we know how
It's
it
like
ends.
when Reva's walking up on him, it's like, well, she's clearly
Yeah,
not
for
killing
sure.
Vader because he's for sure. And like I said about Obi-Wan too, like when Vader gets his hands on him, like, well, he's not going to kill him because
he shows up later.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like the overwhelming threat in this is that Vader will find out that, Leia and Luke exist. And it was like, yeah, but it doesn't fucking matter because we know how it turns out. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's where the problem can be in there. I think it was like, remember what the prequels, when they were first talking about, it was like, really the only reason anyone gives a shit about the prequels is we want to see where Anakin turns into Darth Vader. I was like, other than that, I couldn't give a shit about most of that stuff. I hate sand. Yeah, but I wanted to see what fully turned Anakin, evil and made him kill all the younglings. That's what I wanted to see when he full on goes dark side. And, everything else they were able to do whatever they wanted with, but it was like, that was the thing, but we knew it happened. So it was like, when it happens, it's not like, it's like, oh, okay.
Here's the moment.
Like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. All right.
But let me switch back to the Mandalorian now. And he, like, towards the end of season 2, when Skywalker shows up, everyone's like, holy shit! Because he didn't expect it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like I said, it's like, even though you're using characters we know, but we don't know where Luke's timeline with Grogu goes.
That's going to be a complete surprise.
Yeah, I mean, we know where it's at, but we don't know if that's the end of it or if there's more to it, and that's cool. I love
the
that.
Way I think they could have made Obi-Wan have some of those holy shit moments is to bring in a character from the outside universe that people love and won't expect to see.
Yeah. Well, that's where there were two that there was talked about, which is, I can't think of the one's name, damn it. And he had his own like comic book and different stuff. And they mention him, like I said, his name is on the wall. They mention him during the episode, basically, or point him out, in the stuff on the wall. And it was like, that was one people were really hoping for. And I guess there's a chance, but it's like, it's not likely with only one episode, unless there's going to be a second season.
It's possible.
Which is possible. And the other one would be, I also can't remember the name, the character from the video game.
Oh yeah, Cal, whatever.
Cal Kestis.
Yeah,
it's something like that. Like to have him show up or something, be like, holy shit, But again, it's like, we're pretty late in this to where it's like, we pretty much understand in this final episode, clearly there has to be some resolution with Reva one way or the other. Does she stay dark side? Does she re-embrace the Force? Whatever in there. And obviously, we know Leia's not going to die. She's going to get back with her family because she obviously ends up
Yeah.
back on Alderaan.
Obi-Wan ends up back on Tatooine.
You know, right? And Luke will
Luke
be just fine.
yeah.
You know, like
Luke will be drinking blue
so
milk
it's like,
and pissed off about evaporators.
right, you know, right. So it's like we know those things are coming, but we don't know if it'll be in this season or another season, or that's the thing is like I'm very curious to see if they can put a holy shit moment in, because the only holy shit moment I can think of is that Obi-Wan and Vader fight again, and Qui-Gon helps Obi-Wan beat Vader, not kill Vader, obviously, but beat Vader again. But you know, I don't know. Other than that, I'll be really surprised, obviously, if there's a holy shit moment.
I mean, I honestly think the move would be to have not Qui-Gon show up and just Obi-Wan just flee and just not win.
Right. I like that idea, to where because I think you going back to wrestling terms, I think that puts heat on Vader to make Vader look like a badass. And by Obi-Wan taking off, it really adds to the lore of Vader.
Oh shit.
For their final, and then we, you know, again, because we know where eventually there's a final battle. So but I don't know. I'm curious to see. Obviously, I'm gonna watch it no matter what. But
plus, you know, once again, spoilers, everybody. But it's like when Vader gets betrayed, 30 seconds before that, he wrenched a starship out of the sky, and then ripped
that
it
was
apart.
a fucking awesome. Right.
You can't tell me he can't just rip Reva apart with the Force.
I know, right? Well, it's interesting too, because I don't think clearly there's a thing in Star Wars with the redemption arc,
always.
Right? Like there's tons of them, right? And this is her redemption arc. That this show is her redemption arc, because they created her character for the show. Like she doesn't exist, I believe, outside of this show. So, and you're right. It's like, what I don't understand is why Vader wouldn't have killed her. Because again, this is not like, this isn't sloppy Vader as far as that goes. Where he's sloppy is he's blinded by rage. And typically that would be like the Vader who was dragging people down the street and snapping necks.
I don't know.
Like, you think he would just snap her neck?
Oh, this is where her character dies. And then they didn't kill, they just left her alive. We're going to leave you in the gutter. It's like, but now she's going to come back after you guys. What are you doing?
Right. No, it was. Well, yeah, exactly. Because it's like she finds the little gimmick thing that reveals the kids on Tatooine, essentially. So my guess is she goes to Tatooine. Luke gets involved somehow.
Exactly what's going to happen.
But it's like, I don't. But again, it's like we know Luke's in no danger, because
it's probably
unless
they're like,
unless they reveal that Palpatine cloned Luke.
It'll probably be something like, Leia goes home, Obi-Wan's back on Tatooine, like watching over, and then Reva shows up to take out like Luke to draw out Vader or something.
Right, and then, something to that effect.
Like he's gonna have to help reluctantly again, because Luke's uncle's gonna be like, get out of here, you fucking crazy wizard, or whatever. And I don't know.
Right. The weird part though is Luke is still on Tatooine when we first see Luke in A New Hope. And the whole point of him being on Tatooine is I'm still assuming he's hidden
with Vader's family.
So, right. So it's like, I don't understand how they're going to be able to do this and essentially reveal that, but keep that he was hidden. I don't know, unless Obi-Wan somehow intercepts Reva before she alerts Vader.
Or the redemption arc is Reva turning to the light and going, hey, I know about this, but I'm not going to do shit about it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think when we see it at the end of this last episode, you immediately think, oh shit, she's going to go, because, she still wants to kill.
Like, damn, she's going to go diddle Obi-Wan. Kids now. What are we doing?
No, she's not diddling kids. No, she wants to kill Vader.
She doesn't want a lightsaber diddle younglings? Because that's how the cycle happens.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right. I love one of my favorite scenes, though, is when Vader was like, did you think I did not see young Padawan or youngling or something like that? I was like, oh shit, he knew she wasn't dead.
Right.
which is that's where him leaving her alive. It's the cycle of Star Wars. He didn't kill her when she was a youngling, and he knew. And because it was funny, because when she's like, I pretended I was dead and blah blah, I'm like, do you think he couldn't tell with the Force? Like, he can tap into living stuff around him. I know he was embracing the dark side, but he can still sense energy. You know, so it's like he clearly probably knew you were still alive and left you, and, you know, once again did the same thing. So, but it's like it's clearly not going to come back and bite him in the ass, because we know she's not the one who ends
for
him.
Sure. That's why it's like, I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it wraps up.
That's why I think this point is the weirdest point of the whole series, because again, we immediately go, well, all this is gonna happen because we know it's canon, but there's also, like, they're trying to give us some gray area here, but it's like, it's a real narrow window.
Oh, for sure, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping they can navigate something in there to really kind of blow our minds. I really do hope they can pull a holy shit moment. Because I'm not gonna lie, seeing him pull the ship with the Force, or, you know, with the Force, is pretty fucking cool.
That definitely was good to see.
And I know people have pointed out that happens in one of the video games.
Yes.
That there's a moment where you do that, but I also remember it being in the comic. If I do remember correctly, wasn't there, like, there was in the more recent Star Wars comics, by recent I mean, like, I don't know, 5 or 8 years ago, where, like, they're trying to take off with something and Vader basically stops them, and only because he gets distracted that they're able to get away, basically. Because I remember thinking, like, holy shit, you know, like, I didn't realize, like, obviously we know he's powerful, but I didn't know he was that powerful. I do
remember in the Star Wars Clone Wars shorts that they did, that Gennady Tartakovsky, or however he pronounced his name.
Yeah.
There's an episode where Yoda pulls a Star Destroyer out of the sky. You know?
Yeah. Which makes sense, because he's Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe Yoda's going to show up in this episode.
Maybe.
Probably.
He's just he's got like big sunglasses on with a mustache.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's in hiding too.
So,
yeah.
Like, what are you doing on Tatooine? Yeah. Fuck bitches, I do. Like, what?
Like, you look really familiar. Are you sure we haven't met? Certain am I? Like, are you sure? Like, you look a lot like Master Yoda. A lot, I get that.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I mean, if Qui-Gon shows up, that's gonna be pretty cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny though, because Star Wars fans are gonna, like, shit themselves if he doesn't show up. Because I think everybody's like, well, he has to show up, you know, and even I said it a little bit ago. It's like, well, he has to, because, and it's like, does he though?
Does he have to show up?
What if Obi-Wan never finds Qui-Gon? Or again, maybe if there's going to be a second season, maybe they drag it out to where he's still, after dealing with Vader and all this, maybe the second season's a little more of him trying to get back in his ways with the Force or something. And, you know, we don't know if he ever finds Qui-Gon. We don't know if Yoda ever showed him how.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, Yoda promises him he's going to, but we don't know if he ever actually showed him. You know, we just assume he did.
To that punk ass bitch I was.
Maybe Yoda hit a couple blunts and forgot. You know, I was gonna show you how to find Qui-Gon, but then I got high, and then I don't. You know, we don't know what happened. You know, the other thing I think could be cool is if there are other surviving Jedi, they could have some of them show up.
Yeah, that's true, but
I really
with
doubt it.
Like the canon, if they show up, Vader just kills them all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like. I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like the only thing is that they could help Obi-Wan get away. That's like the best thing they can do. Like, because again, he could defeat Vader, but he's not gonna, like, kill Vader. But we don't know. I mean, he could, you know, tear him up and down again.
I mean,
you know,
I guess Maybe.
But I don't know how much more you can tear him apart. He's already basically just a stump,
sure.
you know. So we'll see. It'll be fun to watch and talk about next week, though. So I watched the second episode of Miss Marvel.
All right.
Also, and it's fun. I like it. It's a fun show, but it's so very it's very like teenage coming of age kind of, you know, like she's growing into who she is as a person and her, you know, learning about her powers and stuff.
A Disney Plus version of like a CW teen superhero show? Okay.
A little. And I thought the girl who plays Kamala Khan, I actually thought made a great point. And she said the way she sees this is that it's a palate cleanser type of show, which I think there's for sure room for. I think that's what Ant-Man was in the Marvel universe.
Hilarious.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't so heavy with the Infinity War stuff and all the other kind of things that they were doing. It was like, you know, it was meant to come out and just like Ant-Man was meant to be a little more of a fun, like more of a comedy. Was, you know, anything. So I think that's kind of what this is also, is I think this is really a show where they're trying to go for like a teenage kind of fun,
a little more lighthearted
show. And, you know, definitely, you know, she's an awkward teenage girl, but then finds that she, you know, when she puts this bangle on, that she becomes, you know, it draws power from her. And, you know, like it even shows her rescuing some kid who is like in a predicament, and then she gets cocky, and when she gets cocky, she actually drops the kid.
Don't get
basically
cocky, kid.
And yeah, right, you know, and he ends up still he's safe overall, but he still like breaks his ankle basically, so he's still hurt. And, you know, so clearly showing her, oh shit, I've still got a ways to go,
right,
you know, in learning these powers. So you know, and I think it's a really interesting, but I've seen that it's got like the lowest watch rate of like any Marvel show, which big surprise, you know, a show with a not white character, you know, like
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid
But
people on the internet.
It is interesting too, because it's like it's showing how her parents are very different, you know, because of their you know, their upbringing and their different stuff. So it's, you know, their cultural difference, and how it applies to you know, them raising her and whatever. And you know, like I said, I think it's a good show. I just don't, it hasn't been like super exciting at this point because she's still learning her powers. So I don't know if there's like truly I don't know what the big baddie is just yet.
Right.
You know, like they haven't really revealed anything
like
so far.
Trolls.
So yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it too, because like I said, it's interesting to me. It's just, you know, it's harder to identify with because, you know, teenagers.
That's true. That's true.
That was like 90 years ago.
Whiteness. It's so hard to identify
with other
non-white things. I don't even understand.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just. Ugh. Fucking assholes. That was my biggest fear. Like when they announced the series, like when they announced the comic, even I had the same thought, because I saw so many of those. It's not what I'm used to, assholes that did that. You know, like, why do they got to have this character that's Muslim or whatever? And I was like, because
shut up. That's why
people of all walks of life should be able to be represented in medias. That's why, you know, like,
why? Because fuck you. That's why.
Also, what you said, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Did you see that? Have you heard about what's going on with Vince McMahon?
No.
Oh, dude. So, this is from Huffington Post here. He recently has voluntarily stepped back as WWE CEO and chairman. Now he's still going to stick around as head of like creative, unfortunately. But because they're investigating alleged misconduct with a former female employee, which I don't think anyone's surprised at.
You don't say.
He's a huge sketchball, right? Anyway, so it says McMahon allegedly paid a $3 million hush settlement to a paralegal to cover up their affair. His daughter Stephanie is going to be taking over as CEO and chairwoman until the investigation is over. John Laurinaitis, who's the head of talent relations, is also under investigation. So the WWE board received damning anonymous emails from a woman who said she was a friend of the employee. She claimed McMahon hired the woman as a paralegal and doubled her pay when they began to have sex. The email writer also accused McMahon of giving the employee to Laurinaitis like a toy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised because rich people do weird shit.
Right?
I got a lot of
Right.
power.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also gross because, first of all, they're both married. But, you know,
Well,
second of all,
Mrs. McMahon was like, you know, sitting in the corner just watching. Yes, get her, Vince. Ugh. With like wearing like a lizard mask or something, or was it a mask?
Dude, they've had storylines where basically, I don't know if you remember during the Attitude Era and stuff with him and like Trish Stratus and all this. Remember Linda was in like a wheelchair in like a coma or whatever for a while, and like he was just parading around how he was cheating on her and all this, and literally they were making fun of like a real storyline in that you know, it's pretty well known that he's cheated on her. And like I said, he's a huge sketchball. I mean, there's no
maybe he's like Tony Soprano, he's got a guma.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a something. But man, this must be really big for him to step back because Vince McMahon's been accused of a lot of shit over the years.
Oh yeah.
You know, think about it. He's dealt with the steroid allegations in the 80s. He's dealt with the Owen Hart thing, the Chris Benoit thing. He's been accused of cheating on his wife. He's been accused of dumping stock and manipulating stock. You know, that's just like, and that's his better things. That's like probably not even the sketchiest things he's done.
I'm sure he's done all kinds of dumbass shit we'll never hear of.
Right. But it's like he's always just been like, meh, you know, and just stayed the course. So the fact is right now they must be really afraid of this hurting stock or something because, you know, or like Fox or you know, one of their corporate partners might have been like Peacock or somebody might be like, yeah, we're going to need you to step back because this is going to make us look bad.
Come on, I put the cock in Peacock. Like, Vince, just shut up.
You're not helping.
Just be
buddy.
quiet.
Yeah.
His lawyer's just snack pack. Go sit in the corner.
Just seriously, dude, just shut up for a minute, would you? What's weird is that after this was announced on Friday Night SmackDown this week, Vince starts off the show, comes out to the ring, and I'm like, okay, like, what are they gonna do here? Like, is he gonna announce he's stepping back? Like, this is a weird spot for him to be in. You'd think he would just go be quiet, but he comes out. Apparently, they have like their signature phrase now is "then, now, forever," and then they added a thing to it that says "together," which I don't understand what.
Lame. That sounds like
why
some
they
sort
think
of,
that
corporate bullshit.
Live,
exactly.
laugh, love.
Like, this is our new plan to bring all the employees together. That now, forever, and together.
Yeah,
whatever.
Anyway, so he comes out, you know, and he's basically like, you know, thank you to all the fans, and you know, then now together forever, and then he just throws the mic and walks off. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, did they have something else planned and they were like, oh shit, we need to kill 3 minutes? Like, what?
Your dad are like, let's go live to SmackDown. What the fuck is Vince doing? What is he doing?
Yeah. Who gave Vince a hot mic?
What is happening? He's the boss. Just let him do it.
Danger. Yeah. Yeah, it was really odd. Like, I think even the crowd was kind of like, okay, when he was done, you know, they were just like, all right, I guess. So yeah. So this will be a fun one to see how this turns
That'd be
out.
great if he just came out with
Because
the
I'll
mic
bet
and just like, fuck bitches, get money, and just throws it.
if this was the Attitude
Like,
Era, he probably would have. Because I would not at all be shocked if there's tons of these settlements out there for him. Between sexual harassment, because he's probably sexually harassed every woman that's been around him. And just not to mention, and it, because you just look at his sense of humor towards the guys and remotely brings that attitude towards the women. There's no way he hasn't been guilty of all sorts of misconduct, but he's probably paid a lot of it to go away, So, I mean, there's rumors even with, I don't know if you remember, like Jimmy Snuka, like, how his girlfriend mysteriously died, and the police were investigating it pretty heavily, but then they had a sit down with Vince and Snuka, and then all of a sudden the police were like, well, it must have been an accident.
Crazy, guys.
And it was like, so everyone knows what happened there was probably a briefcase full of money that changed hands. So, because, Snuka was like Vince's biggest guy at the time. So it would make total sense that he doesn't want to lose his top guy. Of course not. It's like, hey, how much is it going to cost for this to go away? And it's worth it because he's selling out Madison Square Garden and shit like that, So
it's just a cost of business.
A real fucking sketchball.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, good times.
Good times.
Yes, I don't know. Whatever.
Good times. Way to go, Vince.
Dan. Yep. So there you go. I got a couple other things here, but we're running long, so we should probably move on.
2 hour mark almost.
Yeah. So we should probably just skip to the QoftheW unless you have something
to. I'm all tapped out, man. I'm all tapped out, man.
All right. All right, man. Yeah, all right. Well, let's go to the QoftheW then.
We asked you, whose voice just annoys you?
Not mine, pal.
The answers were a little limited this week, Brian. On Instagram, we got a big fat nada, so obviously our voices annoyed everyone, like we talked about.
Makes sense.
And on Facebook, Zach Ellsworth, he answered with a GIF of former President Donald Trump, just saying, "I know words. I have the best words."
I thought that was the first person that popped in my head last week, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna go a different route. But I 100% agree on that. And it's not politics. I just can't stand listening to the guy talk. Never could. I mean, forever ago. Like watching, like, Jen used to love watching The Apprentice, and I fucking hated listening to him talk.
Exactly. But, that's all I got, man. That's it.
That's it? Oh my goodness. Wow. I got nothing over on Twitter. So
light week.
Yeah. Just shit in the bed, I guess.
Like normal.
All right. Well, I did, however, get a response from our pal Cheeto Bandito, who made up for disappointing us greatly last week.
I'm still kind of hurt, but it's okay.
We'll be all right. So he says, whose voice is annoying? Says my coworker Stacy. Fuck that bitch and her vocal cords. Go ahead, call my work and speak to her. You'll be fucking annoyed. I hope she's listening. No,
I hope he's got this on at work, because when he popped in the chat, he said he was working right now.
Oh man, I can't imagine he wouldn't have it in his ears if that were the case. So last week's QoftheW was the what would aliens use as human treats, basically. And he said for him, it would either be delicious beers or some killer weed nugs. And he said for most people, I feel like it would just be some love and affection, because most of us seem to be missing that. Or McDoubles and fries. Either way.
I was about to say, that sounds like he needs a hug.
Yeah, that's all right. Someday. All right, so that's what we got. That's it, man. Okay, man. All right. So for this week, 1 through 12.
Oh man, how about 6? 6, 6, 6.
Nice.
The number of the QoftheW.
The original cut. All right.
Oh,
What thing
he's
would be
listening, but she
drastically
works the day
different?
shift.
All right.
Anyways, what was that? I'm sorry.
That's what he thinks. All right. So what thing would be drastically different if it lasted 1 minute longer?
What would be drastically different if it lasted 1 minute longer? Minute rice. Fuck 2-minute rice.
You're right. Dude, do you remember what was that was like 6-minute abs? Who was there was like a comedian, I think, that had or a TV show that had a bit about that. It was like, so and so has 6-minute abs. I'm like, well, we have 4-minute abs. Oh yeah, well, we have 2-minute abs,
Exactly.
basically. Because yeah. You're so right though. 2 minutes for rice.
Bullshit.
Jesus. Be throwing my microwave through the window. I can't wait for this.
Okay, how about this, Brian?
Okay.
What if this would be drastically different if it lasted a minute longer? Would be, when you open up a can of something and it's been like aggressively shaken, and you imagine if it just exploded for a minute plus straight? God, that would suck.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of these.
Probably. Like the first thing I thought of would be like the one that would probably annoy the shit. Well, maybe not as much now. Would be like traffic lights.
Yeah, that would suck.
Because a minute feels like forever when you're just sitting there like, come on. But now with phones, so many people, as soon as they see a red light, they're immediately on their phone. To where they don't even realize it's turned green.
Boy, do I hate those people.
Yeah. But more so, I think, like when you're waiting on a crosswalk, if you had to wait another minute, you're like, come on, but
that extra minute when you're waiting for food is a bummer.
Isn't it amazing how making toast feels like it takes 20 minutes? And it's not. It just seems like it takes so long for it to cook.
And I was like, I walked out on my front porch to drop off my coffee on my table and all that. And I came back inside to butter my toast, and the shit was already cold. So as soon as I walked away, it probably popped.
Probably. I was trying to think of something like, that like where it is fine, but like another minute would make it like painful. Right. That was something I was thinking. I mean, dude, even like peeing. Can you imagine if every time you peed, you just tack a full minute onto it? Be like Austin Powers.
Yeah, it'd be like me every day.
Yeah, just when you think you're done, you're like, oh wait, here's round 2.
Here comes the sub bladder.
Yeah, the sub bladder. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be that or something that makes you wait.
I know what it is.
Because
load time on games. If you're for an extra minute, you'd just be like, come on. Or load times on websites like it used to be.
Yeah.
Just don't get that instant satisfaction anymore.
Buffering on porn.
Fuck that.
How about ads? Ads on YouTube.
Oh, God. That's the painful one right there.
Additional minute. You're like, oh, Jesus. I guess I'm not watching this. I love the ones like you see people bitch about it all the time when it's like, I'm trying to watch a 30-second video and there's like a minute-long ad before the video. It's like, what the hell? Like, why aren't they at least proportional?
Yeah, I think that's the move right there is modern technology. If you tack on an extra minute, it's the worst.
Yeah, because you're right. No matter what it is, we just want to throw our phone at the wall.
Instant gratification. And
so I said it's amazing because our generation knows what it was like originally. Like to get one porn picture, you'd have to wait like an hour and a half.
You're like, finally,
now you
can
literally literally now you can stream porn videos on your phone.
You want some high def? All right.
usually with very little
Right.
weight, you know? Yeah. And like I said, it's like it, but the, you know, the second there's like a 2-second buffer, it's you know. You know, for a lot of people, I think commercials would be another one.
To be fair though, I barely watch commercials anymore.
No, I know,
But
but
I hear you.
you know, like my
Because I
mom.
did watch some.
Yeah.
Whatever day it was, my internet took a shit on me because I have the worst internet in the
Yeah.
city, but it's also basically the only internet in the city.
Right. It's also the
Yeah,
best
it's
internet in
weird.
the city. Yeah.
I threw up the
Yep.
old antenna because we couldn't watch anything, and we were
Yeah.
watching The Fifth Element on some over-the-air channel. And oh
Yeah.
boy, do you like 7 commercials in a row? Oh my
Yep.
god!
Do you know what it is? A lot of them, I think. Well, the problem you run into now, I think, is commercials used to be like half a minute to a minute, right, or something like that. Now they're like they've shortened them, so now it's like, well, there's still 5 minutes of commercials, but now they're say 20 seconds or 30 seconds
Yeah.
instead of a minute. So now you see twice as many commercials, but it's the same amount of time, but it feels so much longer because you're now watching 20 of them instead of 10.
What's worse is they're all
you know?
like, hey Margaret, I can't shit or whatever. It's all
Those
like
are my
medical
favorite.
stuff now too.
Yeah, a lot of, well, it depends on the
That's
channel
true.
you're watching. Yeah. A lot of them are that, or they're hi, I'm Joe Namath, or fill in the blank old air quote celebrity.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, do you get all Medicaid stuff you're supposed to get, or Medicare stuff?
We know if you're watching
it's one of
over-the-air
those
channels, you're old as fuck.
right. You're old and poor, so here's how you can get more money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good times.
you're not wrong. Yeah, those commercials
It's the
are
worst.
it is very interesting when you see commercials. You can go, wow, you can for sure see who their demographic is.
Hey, we know you're too old and stupid to stream, so we got you.
Right. Oh, right. Or you stream too much, meaning you have incontinence.
Yes. We understand there's a stream in your pants.
All the
Constant,
time.
just dripping down your trousers. Because we know you wear trousers,
We can
because you're old.
Right. We can help you get all the things you need.
Are you sick of wrapping Kleenex around that thing you don't use anymore? That drippy knob in your slacks? Have we got the product for you? I'm Joe Namath.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You may not recognize me because I look like a mummy.
Yeah. But boy, is mine not drippy.
Boy.
And if yours is too, then call the number on your screen right now. We've even put it in large font so you can see it.
Or dial 466 on your Cricket. Or was it a jitterbug, not a Cricket? A Cricket's a fucking printer.
Right, yeah. No, a Cricket has it's a wireless company.
I don't
also,
know.
but...
I can't keep track of all these insect-related phone companies.
Jitterbug, Obama phone, however you want to, out there. That works.
Prado, we don't like promoting our shit. That involves effort.
Silly Prado. How long has he known us? We need him to be. We need a hype man.
Stream, you know.
Right. That's why you got to subscribe on the YouTube.
Exactly.
So it sends a thing out and says, "Hey, these dumbasses are live." Well, he probably hears about them a lot at work. All right. Well, there you go. I guess, once again, the Q of the W is what thing would be drastically different if it lasted 1 minute longer? And right now, I know what you're all saying. This podcast.
Yes. So painful.
So awful.
Show me what you got.
Yep. So head on over to saltylanguage.com. Check out all the links, past episodes. You can find the link to the network that we're part of. Tangentbound Network, which can be found at tangentboundnetwork.com. If you're looking for a network to join with your podcast or looking to start a podcast, hit them up and talk to them about maybe helping you out a little bit. And also, if you talk to Mark, tell him Tony misses him and wants to Jeep wave at him.
Well, he's not allowed to Jeep wave. He doesn't have a Jeep.
No, that's my point.
But it does look like he made, according to Facebook, because I switched over to my homepage, he made surf and turf, and I wasn't invited. The fuck?
That's pretty rude.
I like lobster tails.
Right?
And turf.
So I just assume he just has a piece of like AstroTurf.
So. That's with the serve it on the AstroTurf. This is our surf.
Yes.
And turf.
Oh, dude. I feel like in 1980s restaurant with the way they used to do all the stupid presentations of food with stuff that wasn't edible.
Exactly.
You know? Ugh. Dude, that's the move. Is you serve the lobster tail over like a bed of greens and call it surf and turf.
Like a small surfboard.
Or a small surfboard. That would be fun. Can you like leave the lobster hole and just kind of like pose it on the surfboard, maybe? Yeah. That'd be fun. I don't know. All right. So yeah, head over to the website and like I said, talk to Mark if you're looking to start a show, or if you're
get on it.
And if you want to reach out to us on social media, please head on over to Twitter, and you can find us at salty_language. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu.
Find me on Instagram at The Monotony. The show can be found on TikTok at Salty Language if you're into that. And you can find me on Twitch. Well, not lately, because I explained earlier, I don't really game too much right now. I should just stop promoting until I start gaming again. Right. So, yeah, I mean, Twitch TV/DamnDirtyApe if you're into it. Just be patient. And, of course, if you're watching this, you already know we're available on YouTube. Salty Language Pod. If you're not watching it and you're listening, but you want to watch it and join in on the chat and watch people like our friend Prado shit on us, go to Salty Language Pod. We go live once a week, and there's other goodies there like our sweet and salty languages, blah blah blah. We also have a Patreon where we do bonus content for everybody. Check that out, patreon.com/saltylanguage, I believe it is. Just search Salty Language on Patreon. So. You'll figure it out. Or go to the website. It's right there.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, the link's in the show notes also. For sure. All right. Well, you got get one of those portion cookies ready here. That's all right. I think I have some out in the other room. We can move. Yeah. From when we've ordered Chinese and we just don't eat them sometimes. And, they usually are. So. All right. So, of course, have a beer if you fine.
And always remember that, works out. You will soon discover your hidden talent with your dick out.
Helicoptering, apparently, or some
chopstick.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. Other things. I don't know.
Right, the old kendo stick. Yeah.
Man, went back to her place and hit her with the kendo stick.
Yeah. That sounds violent. Oh, it was fine.